All right, guys, welcome into episode 12. Unfortunately, we missed a week because we had it lined up perfectly with the NFL schedule. I'm just going to label this week episode 13. I don't care. We're just going to keep on track.
Kind of didn't happen.
Yeah, we're going to pretend it didn't happen. Last week, we honestly tried like 3 days in a row. It just Markello's work schedule. One of us was busy each day, so it just didn't pan out.
And then Thanksgiving happened and holidays.
Yeah. So I hope all you guys enjoyed your holidays. If you're relying on us for picks, sorry about that, but I feel like you could have,
How are you doing on the pick predictor?
I'm averaging like 9 or 10 a week.
Okay, I
But
think
at
we're
this
all
point,
honestly about the same.
it's all really close between the three of us, so I think we're all within like 2 picks of each other.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I
I
think we're
got
good.
off to like a good start. That's why I had like almost a perfect week, like the first week, I think,
I was
which
the
is
same
what
with
helped.
week 2, and it's been downhill since that week. I got every pick right besides that Saints and Raiders pick. But so last week I've been going for upsets now, because I enjoy them this time of year, and I picked the Falcons last week. You can check the standings. This is the typical Raiders team every year in this time, so I knew the Falcons were going to win. So that was my like one happy pick that I selected last week, but unfortunately we didn't talk about it here.
Yeah, I know. Just a little sneak peek. Are you worried about the Jets winning against the Raiders this
I
week?
am very worried,
Yeah.
extremely worried. Yeah, I might even pick the Jets. Stay tuned.
I hope you do just again, like it was like the Chargers thing, like for
Yep,
jinx
have to
sakes.
reverse. Yeah.
All right.
Well, there was
So
no
if
Thursday night football game this week. That's why we actually didn't record Wednesday, so there was no need. There was a Wednesday night
Wednesday
football game,
afternoon,
but it didn't
Wednesday
count toward
afternoon
this week.
football.
So we'll hop into the first game, right? I see Saints and Falcons here for 1
Yep.
1 p.m.
So last week you called the Falcon game, and I don't know. I'm assuming you picked the Saints. It would be not smart to pick Denver, especially without Drew Lock and whatever third string practice squad wide receiver was playing quarterback for them. Even though the Saints
That was an
dominated
awful
them,
game. Awful.
even though the Saints dominated, it was really ugly. Like Taysom Hill didn't look like on point. The offense, just besides Latavius Murray just running it down their throats, didn't look like what it could be or like what it displayed the first start Taysom got. But again, I think this is going to be easier game for Taysom Hill. It's against, I think, a worse defense. It's against division rivals who he's played against all the time. Not only that, we're in a dome, so it's not like he's going to have to go through anything strenuous weather-wise. For whatever reason, I don't know if Alvin Kamara is nicked up because he's been getting limited practices for a while now. But Sean Payton said a few weeks ago, like when he was having, the big workload, that expect Alvin Kamara to be limited in practice every game for the rest of the season, every practice. So I'm still going to pick the Saints with Taysom Hill. There's no reason as to why, whether Kamara does good or not, or Michael Thomas does good, that the Saints aren't going to score points. Taysom Hill's always good for like 2 rushing touchdowns himself. Latavius Murray might have one. Kamara still might have one. Julio Jones, as usual, is again limited. Not certain if he's going to play, but whether he plays or not, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, well, I think the Saints did a good job last time because they kind of surprised the Falcons. They thought Jameis was starting, and they didn't really tell anyone till Friday. So I feel like they got the Falcons on a bit of surprise. I will say, Raheem Morris might be the Falcons' coach at least for next year. I think he should be 5-1 if Todd Gurley doesn't fall into the end zone. His only loss coming toward you guys, and your defense has been really excellent the last little over a
This is
month
the
of
defense
football.
we expected to see coming out of the gate week 1, week 2.
Yeah,
And when we didn't get it, we're like, why is this like 2015?
exactly, and it's been back now for over a month. And
And that's
Latavius
with
Murray,
injuries.
I know that's your guy. He's been really going off with Taysom Hill. But I will say the Falcons have a pretty good run defense. And you know that I picked the Falcons the first time, and I thought they were going to split with you guys. Like my only
I know.
concern is Taysom Hill's performance against Denver. I know like he didn't need to be perfect that game because of what Denver was dealing with. It just wasn't like Denver have a decent defense. It just wasn't what I wanted to see. I know it didn't need to be anything like special. I just thought like I don't know. I thought he held in there. Like I thought Denver held in there a little bit too long.
What I do like from Taysom Hill, though, in the 2 starts that he's had is how fast he's actually getting rid of the football. I forgot. I saw a statistic on it. He was one of the fastest quarterbacks so far this regular season in terms of getting rid of the football. It was like him, Big Ben, like they were up there. And so if he could continue that trend and stop trying to, I feel like he plays too much hero ball. He feels like he needs to be the one to rush for like 15 yards every play on the draw. Like just dump it off, take your check downs, fall in line with the system, hit your check downs, hit Michael Thomas on a slant, do what you have to do. Take it yourself if you have to. But don't try to, it's always good to go for the bomb play once in a while, but you can't do that too much. You can't take too many risks like that. Because as good as our defense is playing, we're still not 100% healthy on that side of the ball either. I'm surprised we're playing as good. I want to say this now. I think the best linebacking core in the league is the Saints. Quan Alexander, Demario Davis have been locked down scary. And obviously, not all the Saints games are televised. In the past few weeks, they haven't been. But next time we get a televised game, which I don't know when that'll be, probably against the Chiefs, I'm assuming in a few weeks, that linebacking core is scary. They get back there. They lock down the middle. Anything over the middle usually doesn't fly. Great against tight ends. So that's going to be something to look out for in a few weeks to finish off the season.
Yeah, Demario Davis has been really excellent. And I seen Kawan almost got a touchdown last week. He got tripped up right at the end.
He's been playing great for us. What a great trade.
I'm also going to go with the Saints here, but this game would not surprise me if the Falcons do. I think they're going to keep it close this time. I know last time was like
it's not going to be a blowout.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be very close. It could go the Falcons' way, but the Saints have been excellent on defense. I actually think you're more of a power running team with Taysom Hill as quarterback.
100%. So, that's why we've been seeing Latavius take more of a bigger step.
And I still think like it might not be like sexy, but you'll get like enough yardage between Taysom Hill, Murray, and Kamara to make it work. And Julio, I think he is going to play this time, but he's limited again. You don't know if he's going to last the entire game. And the last few times they played, Matt Ryan against the Saints hasn't been too great, especially with your pass rush. So I think me and you will both go Saints here.
Can we predict Cam Jordan to get another 4 sacks?
For my fantasy team in multiple leagues, let's hope so. Yeah, he's coming off Defensive Player of the Week, so we'll take another performance like that, please.
I know, but as much as I want to blow them out again, especially in the NFL, not only is it a division game, this is the second time we're playing them in like 3 weeks.
Yep. And the fact is, I don't think they were ready for Taysom Hill the first time, so we'll see how they adjust this time. And like I said, I honestly think Raheem Morris should be considered like very strongly for the Falcons' job next year. I think
Sean Payton too should be considered, just on coaches. He should be considered for Coach of the Year candidate, Sean Payton, for what he's done. Lack of Drew Brees, this person's out. Michael Thomas. Last year he dealt with it. There was no Drew Brees for the 5 games. Didn't have Alvin Kamara 100%.
No, I can put him up there. It certainly ain't going to be Doug Peterson or Adam Gase. But I will say I think Flores should be in it too if the Dolphins make the playoffs, which it looks like they will.
I'm still concerned with them at quarterback. I don't know.
Honestly, they should play. They should play Fitzpatrick this week.
But it's not good for a team to not know who their quarterback is.
I know, but it's like the thing with the Jaguars are just benching Minshew at this point. But he had the thumb injury. It wasn't, even though he played and it didn't tell the coaching staff he was clearly affected by it. So I feel like the Dolphins are good. They're very good on defense and special teams. So I feel like they should let Tua get fully healthy, give him another week off, and then Fitzpatrick should be able to handle the Bengals and Brandon Allen. So
yeah. So it's not that big of a deal. Let's just go into it since we're talking we're going Dolphins anyway. I think it's pretty clear to pick them. Yeah. There's no reason to pick the Bengals without Joe Burrow for the rest of the season, which sucks.
Brandon Allen was, very limited against the Giants. It was a really low-scoring game, and I think their only touchdown came on a 100-yard kickoff return.
Yep. That was only a touchdown.
And A.J. Green went 0 for 0 again. So, but Brandon Allen, you can't really expect that. Like, I think this should make Bengals fans feel even better about how good Burrow's been his rookie year. This team is clearly very limited and a bottom 3 team without him. So the fact is that they beat the Titans with him. Burrow's been really good this year, and it's a shame that he got hurt. Hopefully he makes a full recovery, and the Bengals, they get a better draft pick now in the process. So
yeah, look, if you're a Bengals fan, you're either you need to take a tackle in the draft, you need to take one more tackle, or you just need to trade down and get like 2 offensive linemen, or maybe start putting some help on that defense. You just need either more picks or you need an offensive lineman in the top 10.
I think they're going to be in good position now because they probably won't win another game this year. So
yeah. Again, my only concern with the Dolphins right now, it's not coaching. Their defense is obviously amazing. Their special teams, they probably have the best special teams in the league. Because you remember I said this too a few weeks ago when they first upset. I think it was Tua's second start. It was his second start. It was right after the Rams. It was the Cardinal game, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, I think you picked them to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I'm not going to pick, his second start in the league. The only reason why he really won the first one is because of special teams and defensive touchdowns. You can't pick that to happen every week. And I feel like every week they're getting a defensive or special teams touchdown. They're just consistent. They're the best in the league at it. So even if you don't get, physical points from your special teams unit, the position that they get in every game, keeping teams within their 10-yard line to start a drive, just pinching them back like that, it counts for a lot and it goes for a lot. So the Dolphins have multiple ways to win. I just don't like how the locker room itself, any given week doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, it is a bit of a tricky situation, and normally I'd agree with you, like be a little bit concerned, but I think Flores really has these guys believing no matter who plays quarterback. I do think Fitzpatrick's better, especially for fantasy reasons for Devontae Parker. And I will say that Tua was relying heavily on like Preston Williams, then he got hurt against the Cardinals, so he's been gone ever since. And I believe Myles Gaskin is back this week, so
they activated him or gonna activate him.
So that's good for Miami. They've been kind of like up. They've had like 3 different running backs, I feel like, over the past 3 weeks. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins here pretty easily.
All right, that's 2 for Dolphins, 2 for Saints. Browns and Titans.
Oof.
In Tennessee.
Probably the top 2 or 3 teams in rushing attack. You got Derrick Henry versus Chubb and Hunt.
I think this is simple for me, just purely based on matchup. You take the Titans team who's proven they could beat they could also lose to anybody in the league, but they could beat anybody in the league, right? As long as, and then Mike Vrabel actually came out recently, so we have to find a way to get Derrick Henry involved in the passing game. So if they do that, that offense is truly unstoppable. There's just no way that the Browns could keep up. Because again, the Titans defense is abysmal too. They're going to be able to run, but the Browns can't beat a winning football team. It's been like this for how many years now?
Well, they did beat the Colts. I know they're not.
I know, but I'm saying on a consistent basis, beating playoff teams, like they're not, up to par at that standard. They usually, crap on the teams like the Jets, like last year, or they'll beat, whoever it is, the Bengals. Just whenever they play the Steelers, whenever they play the Ravens, we said that one bogus game last year. It's just they struggle against playoff caliber teams. I think it's going to be another situation of that, considering Baker hasn't looked, how you would want a year 3 quarterback to look.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Although I am giving the Browns a chance at this game. I honestly really thought of taking them just because of Tennessee's defense. But this is also December, and Derrick Henry has, awoke. I mean, he's been good all year, but
it's the season.
You've seen what he did last week, 3 touchdowns in the first half against a very good – I know the Colts team didn't have DeForest Buckner last week, but it's still a very good Colts defense. And he was unstoppable. And honestly, Tannehill has been very good this whole year, and especially the last few weeks, he's really bounced back. So I'm going to agree with you. Just, the Browns don't have Odell in this game. I feel like he would have made a major difference. And it's just you're relying on Jarvis Landry, and it's just there's not a lot else on offense outside of – they do have a really good offensive line, the Browns, and if they can keep it a 1-score game the entire time between, split it up between Chubb and Hunt, they'll have a chance in this game for sure. But I'm gonna go Titans too.
Even if it's within a 1-score game, I just have so much more faith in Tannehill closing a game out than I do Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I think that's the major difference for
regardless
me.
of how
taking
bad
Tannehill over Mayfield. And honestly, AJ Brown, he's been so good.
Is he gonna play though? Is he a healthy scratch?
He's gonna play. I feel like he misses practice every week and then shows up on Sunday. So
this will be a good Dolphins running backs. Matt Breida just got put on the COVID-19 list. He's out for Sunday's game.
Well, hopefully they have Gaskin now. Hopefully he's not a close contact.
Is there other running back going to play?
Ahmed? No, he's been ruled out, I believe.
All right, yeah. So looks like Gaskin's going to have the solo work. All right. So far we're agreeing with all. We have Saints, Titans, Dolphins.
How about
next
this
game?
One? All right, go ahead. Which one are you picking?
We're talking about Lions, Bears, right?
Yeah.
In Chicago, I'm going Bears. For whatever reason, Mitchell Trubisky just finds ways to beat the Lions. I feel like every time. It's not just beat them. I feel like whenever I watch a Bears-Lions game that's under Mitch Trubisky, he throws for 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards. I don't know why it happens because Matt Patricia's defense sucks, but they make Mitchell Trubisky seem like there's hope for himself in the league.
Yeah,
so
well, out of the Lions news, Matt Patricia was fired the day after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, right after.
So and their GM, Quinn. So Lions fans are very happy. They actually donated to the Deshaun Watson Foundation and thanked him basically for embarrassing the Lions on national TV. The Lions, the fans don't deserve that for 3 years. That was ridiculous how he wasn't fired last year. So hopefully, better days in Detroit. It won't be this week though. I'm with you. No Kenny Galladay. I don't think no
DeAndre
DeAndre
Swift's
Swift.
in.
No Swift
No,
either.
he's in. He's in.
He's not in.
Are you sure? I
Yeah,
thought he got cleared of protocol.
he got
like,
cleared,
last second.
right? But he got sick, so he missed the last 2 days of
Wait,
practice.
he's sick right now?
Yeah, illness, not COVID related. They said so. He missed Thursday and Friday, and their offensive coordinator took over as head coach. Basically said if he plays, it's going to be extremely limited. So to me, he's not playing. I mean, if he does play, it'll be like it's going to be an Adrian Peterson day, and Akeem Hicks is back for the Bears. So, and the Bears, I know,
is going to be T.J. Hawkinson. That's going to be their only source of first downs.
This is going to be like the Carolina game where they scored maybe 0 points, honestly, or very low scoring for the Lions. And like you said, Trubisky, I believe they showed the stat today in the last 4 games against the Lions, he's scored 3 touchdowns in each, 3 or more in each.
Yeah,
game.
It's dumb what he does to them.
And Trubisky, he's fighting off Foles. I know Foles is back healthy this week, but Trubisky gets to start. So we'll go Bears finally get a win after 5 losses in a row.
David Montgomery finally returns.
Yeah, he looked pretty good last week. And Allen Robinson got added to the injury report today, which is a bit of a
I saw that.
So he must have got, nicked up at practice, but hopefully he should be good to go. I mean, as long as he's good to go, I'm locking in the Bears. But if he does miss it for whatever reason, then it becomes like this might be a really, really ugly game, like a 9-6 game. So.
Oh, I don't know if this makes an. I just saw this notification now. The Raiders they officially ruled out Josh Jacobs, but for the Titans and Browns game, the Titans have officially ruled out Adoree Jackson and Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, but I mean, Adoree Jackson's been gone like the whole season, unfortunately. I hope he really comes back to the Titans in the playoffs because he was really good last year.
And John Gruden just said Jacobs is out, Jonathan Abrams out, and Clelin Ferrell is also out against the Jets. So they're 3 cornerstone draft picks. It's like 3 first-round picks of last year or whatever, 2 years ago.
We'll talk about there. I don't even want to talk about that game right now. We'll talk when we get there. But now Jonnu Smith has really only been used in the red zone recently, which is really weird because I know you have him in my league and I have him in your league. And I watch this guy every year, and there's so much more potential to do more.
He's so good with the ball in his hands, whether it's like reverses out of the backfield or if it's just a short pass. He's so good after the catch, and they only use him within the 10-yard line.
Like in the NFL, just a tight end, and it's just weird. I mean, I know they don't necessarily need him because of how good Henry's been and A.J. Brown, but if they really wanted a third vocal point of the offense, it should be Jonnu Smith. But honestly, the way they've been using him, I don't want to say it's not really a big factor at the moment. So I'm still going Titans in that one.
All right, so we have you're picking Bears too, right? With that?
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right. Do we even need to waste time on Jaguars Vikings? The Vikings are on a hot streak. I said this from before when they started, like 1-5. This is a sleeper team. I still believe in them, and here they are making a playoff push.
I feel like this is an epic trap game. So I had a good feeling Dallas were going to beat them, and they did. And I'm still picking the Vikings, but Mike Glennon didn't look half bad against I watched that game. He could have really tied it up at the end. But
James Robinson looks like a star.
What happened?
James Robinson looks like a star.
He is a star.
Every week you sometimes so to begin the season it was the easy defense. It was like the Houstons of the world and stuff like that, but the schedule has gotten progressively harder for the Jaguars, and he's been progressively doing better, whether it's catching out of the backfield or just as a pure runner.
Well, that other guy, what's his name?
Promise.
Who was the quarterback before Glennon? Like Luton or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
He would never check it down to Robinson. Because I watched a lot of their games. I have Robinson.
And he's good with the ball in his hand, like out of the backfield. He's good.
Yeah, he threw 4 picks against Pittsburgh because he wasn't checking anything down. He was just launching it deep for no reason. So, but yeah, James Robinson was such a find for Jacksonville. Everyone questioned their move from cutting Fournette, and honestly, there's no regrets there at all. James Robinson, his rookie year, is better than Fournette's ever been in the NFL. So.
And we were saying too, at least get a pick. But at that point, when you can't even get a pick, you just cut your losses, you move on, and it paid off.
Yeah, and honestly, Jacksonville is like the Jets. They're in the Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields sweepstakes. We're both getting them, like one or the other. So Jaguars are not really trying to win games, but I will say Mike Glennon made them competitive last week. And the Vikings, they have been hot. So you've been right. They've been, I think they won the last 4 to 5. But this is a trap game. The Vikings aren't necessarily good. Kirk Cousins has been on fire, but you just know, that stinker's coming. And Dalvin Cook's a little bit banged up. He's going to play, but they said they might limit his touches this week. But we'll see.
I know, but they've
this
won
is a
without
closer game
Dalvin
than
Cook.
people want.
They've won without Dalvin Cook, though. And when you play like what, if not the worst, the second worst team in the league, you should be able to get by with however bad Kirk Cousins is.
No, I think he's going to have a good week because Kirk Cousins has been hot recently, very hot. So.
Yeah. All right, next game, another divisional one. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans, and the on-fire Houston Texans. Unfortunately, Will Fuller, PEDs suspended. That's the huge blow.
So I was going to pick Houston, and then we found out everything what happened.
Yep.
Because Deshaun Watson's been playing out of his mind. I think this has been. I know it's going to be overshadowed because their win-loss record, but this is Watson's best year in the NFL, even without Hopkins. He's been awesome. He hasn't thrown an interception, I think, in a month. And anytime you just watch the Texans, Watson's really great to watch. But unfortunately, Will Fuller's gone now for the next 5 games, and
that closes that offense.
And the first game,
even with David Johnson coming back, so I think he's going to play this Sunday.
Yeah, David Johnson's good to go.
Will Fuller not being there closes that offense.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, they cut Kenny Stills a week ago, so he's not good to go. And Randall Cobb's on injured reserve, so it's literally just Brandon Cooks. I'm sure they'll do a lot of like 3 tight ends with Atkins and Fells. They'll try something, and maybe they flex out Duke Johnson at receiver. I don't know. They have to get a little bit creative here because they're severely
nobody.
They're lacking at wide receivers now.
They're worse than the Jets right now, like wide receiver was going into this game.
Yeah, Kiki Q2 I think is starting again, and he was in the doghouse for like 2 years in Houston. So I'm gonna go Colts here. DeForest Buckner's back, so I know the Colts are gonna be really pissed off after their defensive performance last year because they were number 1 in the league. But after what they showed last week was embarrassing for them. They're much better than that. They've been all year. And I think Rivers, gets the Colts back on track with the win here.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Over Houston
and
too.
he's still a little bit nicked up with that toe injury that he has. But I think he got against Baltimore. Was it against Baltimore you got that injury?
No, it was against the Packers.
It was the Packer game where he got it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I thought it was Ravens and it lingered on to Packers, probably Packers. Michael Pittman has looked really good. This is the promise, we wanted to see from before. He got that weird leg injury where he had to have surgery on. He had a fast recovery. All is well. He looks great. T.Y. Hilton caught a huge touchdown pass for them last week. Again, you're not going to bank on like a 50-yard touchdown pass every time from T.Y. Hilton.
This might be the game. You know how much he loves to play against Houston.
I know. He puts up like 200 yards, but I just don't know if I have that kind of faith in him anymore.
I'll have faith in him. I'll predict 100 yards this weekend.
Just because it's
just because it's Houston. This is like one of those games where like you just know it's coming, and like I guess for whatever reason T.Y. Hilton kills the Texans. So
yeah, it's completely fair. I just think the running backs are going to be heavily involved in this game because I don't think that Deshaun Watson is going to be able to score points, and I don't think that's going to give the Colts offense urgency to have to air the ball out and try to feel like that. I just think it's going to be ground and pound. Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. I think it's going to be that kind of game.
And the Texans
a lot of 3-and-outs for the Texans.
Yeah, I still think Watson can put up a touchdown or possibly 2. He's still been really good this year.
I know, but you're not going to beat the Colts with 7 or 14 points.
Yeah. Yeah, the Texans need lots of break right for them, but it's probably not going to happen. I would love to see this game a week ago if Will Fuller was still here, just because of how good.
If Will Fuller was playing, I might have picked the Texans to win this game.
I think I wasn't
home riding the hot hand.
Yeah, just based on the last 2 weeks against the Patriots and against the Lions last week. So,
all right, right now the floor is yours. I'm really interested. Raiders coming back to MetLife.
Okay, so this was a game we talked about very early on in the year. I know Peter was the one who said the Jets might go 0-16. I honestly didn't see it, but I know that was only one game the first week of the NFL season. But Peter was right so far. We look like we're going to go 0-16. But I feel like this and the Patriots game in Week 17 are the last 2 games we could actually win. And after last week's performance for the Raiders, if you're a Jet fan, I don't know how you're not concerned. We beat this team 34-3 last year, I think. And, no Josh Jacobs now. I mean, the Jets really have a good run defense anyway, so I wasn't really expecting him to do anything crazy. But the Jets secondary is atrocious this year, so that's the good news. And I don't believe the weather's that cold because I know Derek Carr struggles in the cold. I think it's like 50 degrees this Sunday because it's in New York. So that should be fine. I'm just hoping it was one bad game for the Raiders because like last year they were a really young team, and obviously you can grow as a team. You're not locked in anywhere. But this still seems to me like the Raiders, like they're much better this year. But this is what we thought last year. They were in the same exact position, and
I remember I thought they were going to win last year.
here comes December. They lost to Jacksonville last year. They were the worst team in the NFL last year to end the season. The last 5 or 6 games, they had the worst scoring in the league. They were scoring like not even 10 points a game. And I'm hoping, that was only one bad game because the Falcons have been hot. They've been 4-2 under Raheem Morris, and it was, maybe it was just a bad day. It happens. They were coming off. They didn't beat the Chiefs, but played very well against the Chiefs, but maybe got to their head. That's what I'm hoping happened. I'm hoping Derek Carr bounces back. I think this has been his best year in the NFL, at least since his MVP caliber year.
Yep.
So I'm confident in that. I like John Gruden, but honestly, the Jets team played again. I know the score against Miami was 20-3, but if you watch that game, the Jets defense played really well in the third quarter, especially. They caused 3 turnovers. I'm going to pick the Jets here, and I'm hoping this is just like reverse psychology. I don't want to win this game, so I'm making that perfectly clear. Unless Jacksonville can win. I don't even want to win anyway, but if Jacksonville can get a win this week, I'll feel much better about this. But I don't feel like the Jets are going to go 0-16. I feel like they played too hard, and I know that sounds like weird, but this team is not. They stink, but they didn't quit like Detroit. Like I know it's hard to explain, but I just feel like
Detroit does that every year.
Yeah, but it's actually under Patricia. But here's what I'll say, too, because the Raiders' defense isn't anything spectacular. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Darnold hasn't thrown a touchdown in a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts up 2 or 3 touchdowns this weekend between Perryman, Mims, and Crowder. I just feel like we're going to have a pretty good offensive day. I'm hoping this game's kind of like the Chargers game the Jets had, where it was like Flacco was starting, but our offense looked, functional, but Justin Herbert was too good. But my concern is, like, Derek Carr is not Justin Herbert, and he doesn't have the weapons that Herbert has. Like, Darren Waller's, very nice. I don't think Nelson Aguilar's playing. Did they announce anything about him?
I have not seen a report yet.
So he was questionable all week. I don't know if he practiced today. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's been really good this year, so I hope he kind of plays. If not, the Jets are really banking on Henry Ruggs, who's been outside of one big catch against the Chiefs this year. Has kind of been non-existent.
He did not practice today.
Did not practice?
Yesterday he didn't practice.
What about today?
No news on today yet.
No news. So he's probably questionable at best. Maybe
Wednesday,
doubtful.
Thursday, no practice.
I'm hoping he plays because we need to give the Raiders more than just Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs out. Henry Ruggs he's been MIA. Hopefully he shows up this week, but you've been getting a lot of weird not weird, but bad stat lines from him. I don't think the Raiders have enough to win this game. I know that sounds crazy to say. I mean, it's the Jets, but I feel like the Jets are going to score on this defense, and if Derek Carr doesn't show up this week, then the Jets are going to win this game.
So here, before I make a pick, you would know better than I would. As far as I know, they're all playing. But what is injury status on the Jets wide receiving core?
All 3 are playing.
100% locked in, going to be active, going to be playing on Sunday.
Mims, Perryman, and Crowder, and it's actually
I told you from week 1 I was always going to pick against the Jets every week this season, but it's the NFL, injuries happen and stuff. Again, if you're a betting man, don't bet on this game. And if you do, I would still pick the Raiders, even though I'm picking the Jets right now. I think the Jets are going to win this game. They're just a healthier football team, regardless if they're 0-11, 0-12, 0-13, whatever their record is going to end up being. When you play a team that already has one of the worst defenses in the league, right, and they're missing 2 of their stars on that defense, or 2 out of their 3 bright spots on defense are out, and then on the offensive side of the ball, their whole offense is out. Derek Carr played like a bum last week, got benched. That's not good for his psyche, even if he wants to let it all out against the Jets. Josh Jacobs is this offense. He's what opens up the offense on the ground. He's what opens up the lanes for Darren Waller and Nelson Aguilar and all these weapons. He's not going to be there. And on top of that, the Jets already had a good run defense. So Devontae Booker's not going to have a good day against the Jets, I don't think. So if you take the running game out of it, who's going to do damage to you? Like you said, Henry Ruggs is either in or out. Like, I feel like John Gruden's using him more as a decoy than he's using him as a weapon.
Hopefully that changes this week because the Jets have a secondary that can be easily exposed.
And as long as, because it happens every single time Rashad Perriman steps out on the field, as long as Perriman doesn't get hurt or Mims doesn't get hurt while running a route or something, or if they get hit, I think the Jets could win this game.
Mims is an injury. That's all Perriman. Mims had an
All right.
unfortunate weird thing because he never was hurt in college.
I know it's just because he's wearing a Jet uniform.
Oh, by the way, Mims is going to score his first touchdown this weekend and have a 100-yard game.
So here's the thing. As long as they're all healthy, I think that all of these Jets receivers are going to do damage to this defense. And if I'm telling you that means Sam Darnold's going to have a good day. And if Sam Darnold's having a good day, that means Frank Gore's going to have a good day.
Yeah, I think the offense look like what? Where was this all year? That's what you're going to think when you're watching this game.
Yeah, and you're still going to get those ugly looking drives where it's a 3 and out and Darnold misses some easy throw.
Dumb turnover. Because I would love if this game was like a high scoring game and we lost. I'll take that. That's fine.
I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game though. I think there is going to be ugliness. I just don't see with the healthy Jets offense, as bad as Adam Gase's play calling is, as much as he wants to lose. Sam Darnold's not an idiot. He's a quarterback in the NFL. He knows that if they keep losing, that he gives them a perfect reason to get rid of him. Just because the Jets organization are trying to lose doesn't mean Sam Darnold and the players are trying to lose. These players have, future teams to play for in the future. It's their livelihood. They worked to get a contract. These players are not just putting their hands down trying to lose. Coaching staff maybe, front office maybe, yeah. But the players want to win. And if they're going to pull out a win, it's going to be this week. And I think that's what's going to happen, actually. I think the Jets are going to win.
I agree with you. And I will say, I know as a fan, I do want the Jets to lose, but that's only for there's a generational
Trevor Lawrence.
But I will say I do appreciate the Jet players, especially on defense. Like these guys, I know it's not always the best, especially
Marcus May flies around the field every week.
Yeah, our defense.
And the score never shows it.
And they're always put in bad positions. But I will say I do like to see because some of these guys are going to be here past this year. Most of them actually are.
Williams.
So it's good to see them not quitting and them actually. That third quarter against Miami was insane.
I think they know what's going to happen. Everybody knows in the Jets locker room that Gase is gone. Gase knows he's gone. What everybody's questioning is, okay, are we going to take the quarterback? Are we staying with Sam? And who's our coach going to be? Because we're tired of losing.
Yeah. And I actually think that if the Jets get Lawrence, they're going to turn this around pretty quickly. Yeah. Very quickly.
These NFL players aren't idiots. They know what the deal is.
All right, we'll move on. Hopefully we come back next week and the Jets are still win this. But
2 Jets. Look at that.
We'll see what Markel does. I hope he takes the Raiders. Just somebody got to – well, actually, I don't care what he does. Hopefully the Jets just lose. All right.
I wanted to hear Markello for this. Giants playing Seattle. We don't know if Daniel Jones is playing.
He's doubtful.
Sucks. Yeah.
So he's probably not playing.
There's just no shot the Giants could win this game.
Yeah. There's
no shot.
Even if Daniel Jones played.
I know, but I felt like at least just because I feel like Seattle also plays to their competition, I felt like it could have been.
Keep this game close. You're right about that. Seattle loved to do it. They love to just keep the game extremely close. But I just think between Russell,
there's just no way.
Yeah, I mean Metcalf might be shadowed by Bradbury, so he might be limited a little bit. But Tyler Lockett will go off, and I think Carlos Hyde got hurt again. They're saying he might have turf toe, but Carson should probably get the workload this week, and it won't be enough. Colt McCoy, I know he thrown into a bad position last week, but he looked awful. So
and this is worst case scenario for Giant fans because you take a hold of the division, right?
Finally,
and then you actually genuinely finally it sucks, but they made you believe that you were going to win the division, right? And then you lose your quarterback after losing Saquon Barkley.
And honestly, Wayne Coleman's been very good. He scored, I think, a touchdown in 5 straight games.
I know, but he's not going to be the reason you win a game. You put him in a position to get in the end zone, especially when you're going for it on 4th and goal. Let's not forget when he's getting these touchdowns, they go for it on 4th and goal because the first 3 times didn't work from the 1-yard line, giving it to him.
Still, though, I still think it's been a pleasant surprise. I know he's been there for years. I haven't really seen anything like this. And they signed Devontae Freeman at first, so obviously they couldn't have believed in him that much. But he's been a much better player than Freeman was before he got injured. So,
yeah, so I don't know. The Seahawks really I can't think of a scenario, worst case scenario, best case scenario. I just can't think of any scenario where the Seahawks could just drop this game to them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
No, it's not a waste of time. This is the week of divisionals. We have the Rams and Cardinals.
I don't even think we have to waste that much time on this one. I'm going Rams. I know Rams coming off a loss against the Niners. That just because of how good Kyle Shanahan is, and
he always beats the Rams.
Yeah,
he has McVay's number.
Yeah, they made golf look terrible, but Kyler is not 100% right now. I said this a few weeks ago. The Cardinals defense actually has been better than I thought. It's just the Cardinals are still a very young team. They haven't put it all together yet. And I know you've mentioned this a lot, Peter, but outside of DeAndre Hopkins, I'm a fan of Kirk, but he's been gone now for 3 or 4 weeks, disappeared. There's not really that much on offense.
No Larry Fitz.
Larry Fitz is on the COVID list. So, and the Rams have an extremely good defense, one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. And if Kyler's not going to run around like what he offers, is his shoulder's a little bit banged up. If he's not going to do his typical 10 to 12 rushes per game, I know it's been like 3 and 2 the last 2 weeks. So if he's not offering you that, and Jalen Ramsey's kind of, I feel like Hopkins can get the better of Ramsey here and there. They matched up in the AFC South, but I'm gonna go Rams here. I think Goff bounces back, and Cam Akers has been really coming on lately. We'll see if he starts. We'll see what goes on there, and
they need to throw him the ball.
Yeah,
they need to utilize him how they were utilizing Todd Gurley a few years ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's earned it now. The last 2 weeks, he's had big runs and 2 touchdowns. So, and Cooper Kupp should bounce back. I think Robert Woods has been really good. So
yeah, Cooper Kupp's still not 100% though. We'll keep that in mind. But I'm also going to pick the Rams. Again, Sean McVay just for whatever reason can't beat Kyle Shanahan, and you see that sometimes. Like when it comes to the Saints, I think Sean Payton's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I think our roster has been one of the top rosters in NFL history. Not top 5, but overall as a roster, I think the past few years the Saints, going 13-3 every year, they earned respect. But Mike Zimmerman always has Sean Payton's number whenever they play each other, whether it's regular season or playoffs. So that just happens in the NFL. Jared Goff, it's the same Jared Goff. So we know if you pressure Jared Goff, you're probably going to win the football game. If you could pressure him, that's how you make him make bad decisions, interceptions, incomplete passes. And I don't know if the Cardinals pass rush is going to be able to do that, let alone, like you said, Kyler Murray, if he's even limited in rushing the ball. Jalen Ramsey, so just because they're playing in the division now, don't forget, they played against each other their whole career so far back in, the AFC South. And when you play, especially in this kind of scenario where you're a number 1 wide receiver, you're a star, and you're a number 1 corner, you're a star, and you only shadow each other, over time, that only helps the cornerback. The cornerback will win that matchup the more you see each other. So if you could limit DeAndre Hopkins, if you could limit Kyler Murray, this offense doesn't turn into a lot. So I'll have more faith in, like you said, the Robert Woodses of the world. Cooper Kupp, yes, but again, not 100%, so you're not going to rely on him. But Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp's still a threat as long as he's playing. And then, again, it used to be a backfield thing. Is it Derek Henderson this week? But now it looks like it's Cam Akers. So keep riding the hot hand. And even though it's in Arizona, you should be able to win this game.
Yeah, and actually the complete opposite of Kyle Shanahan being undefeated against the Rams. The Rams under McVay are undefeated against the Cardinals. Granted, I know Murray's only a rookie last year, but he still got the better of him twice last year, and I think this Rams team is much improved. And the Cardinals are still a very young team, still figuring it out. So I'm Rams here.
I still think the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs. It's not knocking them or thinking they're falling off. It's just
I actually
matchups.
don't think they are.
Really?
Well, I haven't looked at
You think the Vikings take their spot?
Well, the options, it's Bears and Vikings, right? The main 2.
Right now in
actually no, they might still make it. It just they have been trending downward. So
it's them, the Rams, the Vikings, and Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay's not in right now, or they are in?
Well, look, so there's 2 wild cards.
3
this year. Is the first year with 3?
Yep.
So look, somebody from the NFC East is going to win.
The Vikings are consistent enough. My only concern would be the Bears, maybe, but even Bears are probably going to go 8-8, to be honest.
So you have Rams, Cardinals, Vikings, Bucks, and 3 of those 4 teams are going to win. So who falls out?
I think we can safely say Rams and Bucks are in. Then it should be the Cardinals. I think you're right. But they have been trying to.
As much as I have faith in the Vikings, I still have. I think the Cardinals.
Vikings can make it interesting.
Edge them out.
Yeah.
All right. I just saw the report. Cam Newton is good to go. So Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers.
So I think I'm going to differ here than you. I'm actually going Chargers here.
You're not differing. I was going to say the Chargers.
Okay. Patriots are too up and down. I know they they had a great game last week on defense against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. And I know Bill Belichick's track record of success against rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks. But Cam Newton's clearly not playing too well. I think he had like 90 passing yards last week against
he's hurt again.
That was a good matchup for him against.
Even if he's playing, he's not playing 100%.
And Chris Harris returned last week, so I feel like even the Patriots' best weapon, Jacoby Myers, might be, I don't want to say shut down, but extremely, not as big days like what's been happening. We'll see about Casey Hayward. I think he's questionable. Joey Bosa is coming off an incredible game. He had, I believe, 3 sacks against the Bills. Now, do I trust the Chargers completely? Absolutely not. So I would not bet on this game. But I think you've seen enough in the last, year and a half with the Patriots defense. As good as secondary has been, I think certain quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and a few others in between have shown you that I think Herbert has enough here to win this game. I just don't trust Cam Newton right now. And Patriots, they're too up and down right now as an offense. And would I count them out? Absolutely not. I wouldn't be stunned if they won this game because Anthony Lynn is a terrible head coach. I know, Peter, you've been on him for the last weeks now, and that Bills game is embarrassing at the end of the game. I don't know if you've seen that, but
yeah,
Anthony Lynn has got to go after this year. But I feel like we say this all the time. The Chargers are a better team on paper. They're definitely not better coach. So if you want to go Patriots here, I understand. But I'm just gonna go with my gut here, and my gut tells me the Chargers offense. They've already played the Dolphins defense, and it's not the same defense, but it's literally the same like cover zero with the Patriots run. And I feel like the Dolphins are the better version of what the Patriots are right now under Flores. So that's no disrespect to Belichick. It's just with everyone opting out and
it's just roster-wise, it's what he's has to work with.
And as good as Gilmore is and J.C. Jackson, I think I'd take Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. And the Chargers just played the Dolphins 2 or 3 weeks ago. Herbert did look a little flustered in that game, so that's why I kind of hesitated here. But I feel like the second time around against a team that's not going to be as good as getting to the quarterback as the Dolphins were, I feel like Herbert will do enough to win this one in a close battle.
Yeah, I think you said all of that perfectly, the reasoning, all that. I completely agree with you, so I'm not going to waste too much time on it. Again, I'm not going to get mad at anybody for picking Bill Belichick to out-coach Anthony Lynn, find a way to win this game, whether it's by a field goal or whatever the case may be. But even if Cam Newton was healthy, I don't think I would have faith in him, let alone we know he's not healthy. He's playing through something, regardless of his, injury list status. And I don't think again, Julian Edelman's still out. I just don't like the weapons the Patriots have to offer. Even the running game doesn't seem consistent to me.
It's very up and down.
Yeah, it's overall as a team, they're not consistent. And if you just give me a trio of Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, I'm confident in that. It's more of a confidence thing. They could score points, and I think they'll score more points than what Cam Newton can manage to do, regardless of how beat up the Chargers defense is.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Philadelphia Eagles at the Packers. I don't think we had to spend too much time on this one.
We're taking the Packers. The real question is, what's going on with Carson Wentz, and are we putting Doug Peterson on the hot seat?
Yeah, I think, Carson Wentz might be impossible to get rid of because of the contract, but I'm pretty sure Doug Peterson is on the hot seat.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the report or anyone watching this. The Eagles owner actually didn't go to the game. Not this past week. They're not against the Seahawks the week before. I forgot who they were playing. It was the first time as an owner he didn't go to the game because of how pissed off he's been with the team and Doug Peterson. So that doesn't bode well. Doug Peterson is telling people that he gave up some of the play calling duties. I don't know what that means. That's always a lie. I mean, Adam Gase is doing the same thing. They're calling the plays.
They're calling the plays.
They are calling the plays. I don't care.
No, remember how they broke it down for the Jets. So
yeah, we have a middle.
Doggins was calling the plays.
Loggins is
calling the plays, but he told Adam Gase what the play was to relay it to Sam Darnold or Joe Flacco.
Yeah, why is there a middleman? Just makes no sense. And then Gase has the power to change the play if he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's calling the plays.
And the last week against the Dolphins, it was Gase because Loggins didn't have the sheet with him. So they were showing him on the camera, and he's not talking at all. So obviously it was Gase last week, and then he lied about it in the post game. But For this game, for the Packers and Eagles, I think it's pretty simple. And the Eagles actually beat the Packers last year. Jordan Howard, I believe, had a 2 or 3 touchdown performance on Thursday Night Football. But this Eagles team has been a disaster this year. For whatever reason, Miles Sanders is not involved in the offense anymore. And I feel like this is a problem with a lot of like the Andy Reid disciples, especially even in KC right now, is they just they throw out the run game very easily. And the Chiefs do it too. The Chiefs have a good reason to do it though. They have Mahomes.
Well, the Chiefs have a reason to do it.
Yeah, but it just seems like anybody
have a reason to do it.
anyone under this tree. Boston Scott's been a lot more involved now, so it's kind of like, I don't want to say 50-50, but it's been like 60-40, so pretty surprising because Sanders was.
And I don't understand why. Well, Miles Sanders has been literally their only consistent source of offense as long as he's been healthy playing.
He doesn't look 100% though since he's been back, so maybe it's something to do with that. And the Eagles' offensive line is super banged up. I believe this is like their 11th combination of guys going into this week for starters. But I know Aaron Rodgers is the type of guy where he has this in the back of his mind that he lost last year. So Aaron Rodgers is going to score 4 or 5 touchdowns this week. He's going to go off again. He's going to be like,
So we asked the question. What's going on with Carson Wentz? What are we doing with him? We asked the question, is Doug Peterson on the hot seat? Here's the third question. Who is more petty? Is it Tom Brady or is it Aaron Rodgers?
It's close. But I think in terms
who's hold grudges,
Brady would be in terms of like when he loses, he doesn't shake people's hands like Nick Foles and who's the other guy? Jared Goff.
So just like sore loser type.
Aaron Rodgers will like he'll put on a face and everything, but he has in the back of his mind the next time they play. I know they played the Niners this year. It was like a different Niners team because they were all banged up. Rodgers wouldn't let Aaron Jones score a 1-yard touchdown. He was literally throwing it in. So that's gonna happen again. Trust me. When they get down there, trust me, they might throw it to Jones, but Rodgers is gonna want. He's gonna want like at least 4 out of the 5 touchdowns they scored this weekend.
Whenever I watch the Packers, I get like in the back of my mind, it just bothers me because I always ask myself like, what if you actually use those first 2-round picks on weapons that could help Rodgers or on the defense, the new linebacking core,
or Denzel Mims is gonna be a star, dude. He's really good.
I just don't understand. Like, take Patrick Queen, trade up and get. You know what I mean? If you're gonna trade up. Get a position of need.
Lazard is pretty good. He came back again.
I know, but adding wide receiver is not going to diminish what Alan Lazard does.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, for Rodgers' sake, this Packers team is one of the best teams in the NFL, but I think what you're saying is like if they would have had another first, second round piece added somewhere, whether it was defense or maybe one defense, one offense.
Fill their holes. The whole league knew what their holes were.
Yeah.
They've had the worst run defense in the league for like 2 consistent years in a row now, consecutive. Maybe 3.
I don't clearly understand. I mean, I don't think it'll be that much of an issue this week with the Eagles because Carson Wentz struggled to get a first down against Seattle until like the very end of the first half. So I don't know. Like I feel like the Packers are going to bounce back. I know Dave Montgomery had a big game against them. Some of it was in garbage time, but I just got a feeling that maybe Doug Peterson did give up some of the play calling duty. So maybe you see Miles Sanders like bounce back game. But this game, to me, seems like the Packers are going to get up pretty big early. And we're going to see the same thing where the Eagles throw out the run game and Boston Scott comes into the game more. So,
I know. The Packers could score 40 points. The Eagles, if they're lucky, could score 17.
Zach Ertz is back this week. If that gives you any confidence. But
it doesn't.
Because he's leaving as a free agent after this year. So, they were already phasing him out before he got injured. And honestly, the Dallas Goedert and Richard Rodgers are like one of the only bright spots on offense. So I don't even know how much of Ertz I'd play this weekend, honestly. Like he's going to play. I'm just saying I don't know if I'd give him like 85% of the snap.
Actually, in our fantasy league, I have to play him because Jonnu Smith's out. So
he'll probably get in. He's a good player. Just like it's just hard just because of how good Goddard and
sorry, Carson Wentz.
The Eagles go
not going to be a good offensive
game. Play almost anyway. So
all right. Broncos at Chiefs. I think Drew Lock coming back? I don't think it matters, but is he?
Yeah, they all cleared the COVID protocols. Actually, They would have played Monday if the NFL allowed it.
Yeah, there's no way I'm picking the Broncos over the Chiefs. I don't even want to waste time on it.
Yeah, same thing. Although I will say, I know the Ravens had a huge outbreak, so it's much different. I know the NFL doesn't allow it for strategic purposes, but there's no way that game played on Wednesday was like deemed safe. There was literally a person who tested positive like the day before.
The day before, yep.
Like the NFL clearly didn't care. They just wanted that game played in week 12, and Wednesday game even in week 12 is like, is that even week 12 anymore? The game is like 6 days later. I feel like they should have gave Denver an extra day. And I know like it probably wouldn't have mattered against the Saints. I'm just saying like they literally like I know Jeff Driscoll is the one who tested positive, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday, and they didn't even tell like they had a Saturday practice, and then Drew Lock, Blake Bortles, and I forgot the other quarterback were all sent home like halfway through the practice and said that they were considered high risk.
Exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you gave literally a guy who's a practice squad receiver like not even a full day to prepare for the Saints game.
So,
That was ridiculous.
one of the best defenses in the league.
One of the best defenses. You gave the guy no chance. So
yeah.
little screwed up. But
I actually, and for fantasy purposes, not that it's going to make a difference in the game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is questionable with some illness, non-COVID related. So whether he'll play or not, like I feel like he's going to be able to play, but if he's not good to go, I don't think this is a game where you have to rush him. Just use Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
if that's why you have him there.
And honestly, they don't even run the ball that much. They run the ball like 7 times a game. So
I know. So I actually talked to right after the Saints game. Me being a Saints fan, I hit up one of my Denver Bronco fans, like as a friend. I hit him up, and I was just getting his opinion just from there's not that many Broncos fans in New York, so I was just curious. I was asking questions. I'm like, look, granted injuries aside, all that stuff, where are you at? Where's the fan base at with Drew Lock? Are you guys ready to move on? Are you still looking at quarterback in the first round this year? Are you looking to give him another shot? And he's saying, at least for him, that he's cutting the slack thing where it's like, look, everybody's been hurt. His favorite weapon's been out all year. He's been in and out of the lineup, throwing shoulder injuries, all this stuff. I want to give him 1 year with the offense, full go, see what we could do. And a healthy defense, too. He brought up the defense. So the Broncos fan base, from what it sounds like, wants to give Drew Lock 1 more year.
Well, depending on where they're picking, I know we've talked about this. I wouldn't, but like Fangio is going to be safe. They're saying. I know there's some reports or some like rumors.
I think they're going to run it back. Same coaching staff, same quarterback. If they're running back.
But if the Broncos end up, how many wins they have? 4 or 5? If Denver end up,
Broncos have 4.
If Denver end up with a top 5 or 6 pick, I have a hard time passing on someone like Zach Wilson or Trey Lance. I just have a hard time doing it. I don't think Denver should do it if they have the opportunity, but we'll see.
I don't think John Elway's going to go do that though. I think he's going to stand by his 2nd round pick and be like, "Look, it's your 3rd year."
I know, but they held on to Paxton Lynch for too long too. I know,
but at least we've seen flashes with Drew Lock.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like you got to cut it. I know it's been unfortunate for Lock and injuries and for him and the players. It's been rough for the Broncos this year. Courtland Sutton was lost, I believe, in week 2. So you didn't really get to see Lock completely. And then when he did, he got hurt. And then I believe hurt again. And then if, the false COVID thing, well, not false, but high risk. So he didn't play. So it's been a really weird year. I feel like the games we did see him, I didn't think he showed enough. But if Denver want to run it back again. I'm just saying if they're in a unique position, which I think they're going to be in the draft, it's just hard to pass on like a very good quarterback prospect. I think they need it. And like we talked about the division with Mahomes and Herbert, I don't think Locke is in that.
He thrives them more.
I think you need a new
John
guy.
White has to be thinking about it. I'm in a division, now with Herbert, Mahomes.
Either you get a caliber of quarterback like Herbert or Mahomes, or you have to build basically a perfect roster.
And look, he's done it before. Payton's last year. He put everything around him.
Yeah, that's true.
Offense and defense.
That's going to be a unique position, a unique team to like monitor during the offseason, what they do in free agency first. That'll tell you a little bit what they're planning in the draft.
Next game again. The Steelers played Wednesday afternoon against the Ravens. And like you said, they always play down. Even without Lamar Jackson, they played down. They could have easily – the Ravens could have came back in that game.
Bruce McSorley, if he got a chance, maybe he could have won that game.
So the Steelers played the Washington football team and Alex Smith. They're going to Pittsburgh. I was high on the Washington team coming into the year. I just didn't think the injuries favored them. Yeah, I don't think the injuries favored them, and I don't think the schedule favors them, and that's a prime example of that. Besides, it was unfortunate watching Bud Dupree go down. ACL, he's out for the year. But that's just one star in a star-studded defense, and they're going to wreak havoc on this Washington offense. The only source of offense I see them, Terry McLaurin is going to, garbage time points I'm sure he'll get. And you're going to see Antonio Gibson, out of the backfield, like checkdowns. But in terms of running it I don't see this Washington, especially again, given I feel like I say this every week. Alex Smith doesn't really put the ball in the end zone. Thanksgiving was different because Antonio Gibson was running it in, but Alex Smith, for whatever reason, if it's not to a tight end, just struggles getting it in the end zone. And especially against the Steelers, one of the best red zone teams in the league. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game.
So you guys know that I've picked the Steelers to make the Super Bowl, and I've actually picked them, I think, every week of the season.
Yeah.
I'm going Washington here.
Really?
I told everyone the upset. They're not going 16-0.
I don't think so either.
They played on Wednesday. Now they're playing Monday, so it is a short week for Pittsburgh. I just have a feeling there's going to be a game, and this seems like a perfect game for them to not they do seem to play down to competition, but it's extremely difficult to go 12-0, to be in the position they're in. They're playing, some people are saying questioning their schedule, but you only can control who you play. So Steelers have been perfect on the year. And I just feel like Washington, had so much time to prepare for this game. They can, and maybe it doesn't make a difference. Maybe it does. I just don't think Pittsburgh's going to play extremely well this week, and I just feel like Washington could upset them. So I'm going to go Washington here. I don't feel confident in this pick. I just don't feel like I said I was going to pick against the Steelers one week, and this is going to be like guessing this is the week they lose a game. So
see, if I were you, I would be making that bet next week when they go to Buffalo to play the Bills. That would probably, if you're going to pick against them, I feel like the Bills is a good game where they play the Colts in a few weeks.
Yeah, but I feel like Pittsburgh have shown me, like, they against the Titans, right, early on, they play to their competition. So I feel like they'd be ready for the Bills. They'll be like, this is one of the best teams that we're going to face this year. Everyone's saying we can't do it. I feel like they could overlook the Washington team. This is
I just don't see how
in between. So
I don't think Washington's strength defensively is their front seven, but that's not where the Steelers offense comes from. As good as
I think there's a good chance Pittsburgh win this. I'm just kind of banking on Pittsburgh. This is a game sandwich in between a division game. Pittsburgh coming off a short week and then overlooking the Washington team to get, they know Buffalo's coming. So would I bet Washington? Absolutely not. I just went gut feeling here. I want Washington. Right. And you guys know that I like Pittsburgh, so this wasn't easy to decide. I didn't want to pick them every single week of the year.
That's fine. I might pick against them, either against the Bills or Colts. Definitely not both, but against one of them, I'm going to pick against them. All right, next game. Speaking of the Bills, we have the Buffalo Bills going to San Francisco to play the 49ers.
And for anyone watching, if you don't know, there's 2 Monday night games this week because because of Pittsburgh and Ravens got pushed back to. They're supposed to be. So the Ravens were supposed to be played yesterday against the Cowboys, but because of the whole COVID outbreak, the game obviously got moved till the Ravens and Cowboys are Tuesday, and Washington and Steelers are Monday night at 5 p.m., right?
Yep,
5 p.m.
And this is the night time. The regular time, 8:15.
Yep, this is the regular one. So I actually went Niners here, and I'm not confident in this pick at all because we seen what Nick Mullins did in prime time against Packers last time they played. But I do feel like, and I know Kittle's not back yet, but Deebo Samuel is a really big piece to this offense. Kyle Shanahan, finds ways to get touches to Deebo, whether it's behind the line of scrimmage or as a receiver. What he did against the Rams is super impressive. And I know that's a division game, so you can't always account for that, but I do. Brandon Ayuk's back off the COVID list. And the Bills have been really hot. They've won, I believe, the last 4 to 5 games besides the Kyler Murray Hail Mary touchdown play. But to me, Josh Allen looked like he's done without John Brown this year. I think he's been much better quarterback when John Brown's playing. He didn't play last week, and it wasn't great against the Chargers. It could have been a lot better. I think it should have been, but the Bills are winning. John Brown will be back for the playoffs, but just for this particular week, John Brown's not playing. He's on IR. The Niners have Sherman back, which is big for their defense. The Niners' defense is looking good. They're at home, and Kyle Shanahan has an extra day to prepare. The problem is actually they're not at home. They travel to Arizona, so they're playing in Arizona for the
neutral site.
Yeah, neutral site. But I'm gonna lean Niners here. But I would not be stunned if the Bills win this. I think this is going to be a great matchup between two good teams.
Yeah. So as of right now,
before you go,
go for it.
the Niners are actually the team that I have making the playoffs over the Cardinals.
Really?
Yep, the Niners have 5 wins. They're 5-6 after beating the Rams.
Okay,
So that was the team that I forgot in my head, but it was the Niners.
Okay.
Only because of how good Kyle Shanahan is, and I heard Kittle's coming back. So between Debo, Ayuk, and Mostert's back. So I like the Niners. I think they're getting healthy at the right time, and I think the Cardinals are trending downward right now.
So in terms of the Monday night game, I truly don't know who to pick. I'm trying to think. So like, if this was in Santa Clara, I actually would pick the 49ers. But again, it's a neutral site. But even though it's a neutral site, the Bills still have to travel cross country, right? And it's going to be a different kind of flight time. You know, I've seen players talk about like if it's a Monday night game, like it just feels different. You get on the planes at a different time. It's just you have such a routine playing in Sunday afternoon that when you have those night games, it's just different. Kyle Shanahan, again, like you said, the defense is getting healthier again, and Kyle Shanahan's just. I feel like the reason why I would pick the Bills is I think one of Kyle Shanahan's struggles. I don't know if it's necessarily his fault or it's just the defense. They just struggle guarding like rushing quarterbacks, you know, QBs that are dual threat. That's just something that they struggle with. And if Josh Allen's able, you know, get out of the pocket and not fumble the ball like we see a lot that he does, I think he could do damage. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Sherman's going to shadow Stephon Diggs, so it's going to be more on Sean McDermott to, you know, scheme Stephon Diggs to play in the slot or move him around because Sherman's more, you know, locked down one side of the field. I don't think he's going to follow.
Well, Jason's playing really well, even if Diggs goes on him.
I'm going to lean Bills for now, just because even though the 49ers are getting healthier, they're not healthy. Just to be honest, they're not healthy. They're getting healthier. I see what you're saying that they could be a sleeper team. I just think that the injuries put them in such a hole this year, falling down in so many of these games. And you're talking about the Bills who are hot right now. They're finding themselves, even though Stephon Diggs had a quiet kind of week last week. I don't expect that to be the case this time. I think they're going to make it a point of emphasis to get the ball in his hands. So I'm going to lean Bills for now, but if injury reports come out or something changes, I could easily switch my mind on, you know, Monday morning.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be one of the most interesting games of the week, and I'm glad it's on Monday night actually, because these are two, like, I know the Niners are like they're kind of an afterthought at this moment, but you know, the Niners won the Super Bowl last year, and I believe the Niners are going to be back next year. I'm not saying the Super Bowl, but just based on the roster, I don't know what they're going to do with Garoppolo, but Robert Saleh right now I think is going to get a head coaching position too in the offseason.
Well, we thought that was going to happen last year. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to happen this year, though, and I feel like this is kind of going to be I'm going to say like a mini run. Like, I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but I just think the Niners are going to win out, not win out, but win majority of their games out. So, and overtake the Cardinals for the last spot.
That'll be fun to watch and see how it plays out.
I love that division. It's the best division in football. So
I actually want to look up their remaining schedule.
they'll talk about that before we head
this
game.
They play the Bills, you know, Monday night. Then next week they play Washington. The week after that they play Dallas.
So they're going to win.
Then they play the Cardinals. Then they play the Seahawks. So you know what? You're right. This division, the wild card's going to come down to the last few games, because the last 2 games for them are divisional games. One being against the team they're trying to take the wild card from, and they're going to have to beat the Cardinals, and they're going to have to beat the Seahawks just for, you know, divisional head-to-head advantage.
Just Google the Cardinals schedule, because I feel like the Niners can realistically win 3 out of 5 in that span.
I think the Niners are going to be both NFC East teams.
I think they're going to beat both the NFC East teams.
Yeah.
I think they're going to beat the Cardinals. Seattle's very tough to say. I'd say that's 50-50, probably leaning towards Seattle. And the Bills game actually isn't as big as a deal because it's an AFC opponent, but if they can beat the Bills and win out,
the Cardinals play the Rams this week, which we won't know until after Sunday afternoon, but we picked the Rams to win it. They play the Giants at MetLife next week.
I don't think Daniel Jones is back. Although the Giants are they're not like an easy win like last year. I think they'll beat the Giants though, but
okay. Then they play the Eagles at home.
All right,
Arizona. Then they play the 49ers at home, and then they play away at the Rams to end the season.
So I think the Niners and Rams are going to beat them.
So that's what I mean. This division, the
But,
wild card in the NFC, is going to come up to the last week or two of the NFL season.
I agree, and that's amazing. That's what you love. That's what you like to see. So that'll be interesting. Let's finish it out.
Yep, Tuesday night.
So Cowboys. Oh, update. Cleveland Farrell's actually going to play.
Oh, they switched it? That's great for Jet fans.
Well, I guess it's bad for Frank Gore, but it doesn't really help their secondary. Well, maybe for a little bit of pass rush. But I will say the Jets have Becton and Fant, so like, is he really going to get through? I don't know. He's not going to pass Becton. So if he lines in the interior, maybe. But we'll finish it off here. Cowboys at Ravens. We're not positive
Jackson will be back,
play, right? Like
I think by then he should be good, cleared. No.
Yeah, he could be. So he tested positive on Thursday, so he has to. It's 10 days, so he should be good to go by Monday. But if he's feeling like, because obviously, so Calais Campbell is feeling like he actually has the symptoms and everything. We don't know if Lamar has that. If he's not feeling too good, he might not actually play this game. So like John Harbaugh didn't.
I feel like we would have heard if he wasn't feeling good.
Well, maybe not. Well, John Harbaugh didn't really clarify anything. He didn't comment. He just didn't commit to Lamar yesterday playing. He just said, we'll see. So even if he does, even if he doesn't, well, the Ravens literally just placed RG3 on IR right now.
Yeah,
so
they took off
Lamar did this, it would literally be Trace McSorley, and I would still pick the Ravens.
Yeah, so would I.
Ravens defense is coming back. You seen what they did against Pittsburgh, and that wasn't like their defense line wasn't even back yet.
They were trading turnovers to start the game.
The Cowboys, their offensive lines are really beat up right now. Ezekiel Elliott's contract looks worse and worse by the week. He's been horrendous this season, fumbling, nonstop. And the Ravens have a great secondary, so I just don't see the Cowboys scoring many points. And the Ravens' offense really hasn't been great this year either. I believe Willie Snead's not going to make it for this game because he tested positive last Sunday, so I'm pretty sure he's out.
J.K. Dobbins looks like he's going to play. If J.K. Dobbins plays, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm locking in Ravens at home. I think that's a difference maker for their offense.
I agree with you. I'm locking him in either way. I don't care who plays running back.
So am I. Yeah.
Ingram, I'm going Ravens here, and even with Trace McSorley, honestly.
Yeah, as am I.
I know that's sad to say, but Ravens' defense is just phenomenal.
Well, they actually looked better when McSorley took over.
Yeah,
not that it was RG3's fault. He was playing hurt with his hamstring, but
I mean, he had that one really good drive, and they pulled the hamstring on that drive. So
yeah, as he was running out of bounds.
Hollywood Brown had his first big game in this whole year, I think.
One first big game. It was his first big play.
His first big play.
It was a curl route that he just made the defender miss.
So I feel like he's going to be non-existent again after this week. And actually, I'm not sure Mark Andrews is playing because he also tested positive later in the week last week. So the Ravens will be kind of limited on offense, but
there's going to be people who pick the Cowboys to win this game.
Yeah, I just believe in John Harbaugh more. I feel like he's a great coach, and
especially at home.
Yeah,
I don't think the Cowboys are
an idiot. So I'm serious. He's an idiot. So
regardless of the injuries, you have to outcoach the Ravens to beat them.
Yep. And they gave one. I know it's a division game, but they easily could have been destroyed by Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh always play down to competition, but this was one of those times where the Ravens literally fielded half a JV team. Their whole practice squad was elevated for this game. So the Ravens had a lot of guys in there who normally aren't in there. And you know how a bad coach,
how bad
that game could have went. And the Ravens hung in there all the way to the end. So Dallas.
And again, without a few turnovers, they could have won that game.
Yeah, and if they gave Trace a chance, it's possible they could have won at the very last drive. But we'll see. I really like the matchups this week. There's a few in here that's
going to be a fun week to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So
a lot of divisional games. The games are starting to matter more and more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is literally perfect timing. Every game now counts. All these teams in the playoff hunt, you have to win. This is the time.
Yeah. And
we find out a lot more about these lame duck coaches. You're going to see who's getting fired and stuff. So exciting time of the year. Anything else before we end?
I think we're good. All
right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week. I'm sorry we missed last week.
Forgetting about it.
We'll be here from, every week now. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
See you next week.